A lot of people love to eat out because their lives are so busy and hectic, and it makes it so easy to just pick something up or get something delivered to your door and not have to worry about making a meal or creating something for your family to eat. Or maybe you love to eat out because you absolutely love the food and it tastes much better than you think you can make at home. So let's get into how to stop eating out. The first thing to do is to figure out why you're eating out. Now, this may seem like a no-brainer and something obvious to you, but it's important to understand why you're eating out. Is it because your life is so busy and hectic and chaotic and you have zero time to cook? Or do you eat out because you love the food, you love what it tastes like, and you really enjoy that comfort of going out to eat and having the food they make? So it's important to know if you are extremely busy or if you just like the taste of the food, because both things will be treated differently. So if you're someone that has a crazy busy life and you like to eat out because it's convenient and fast and you don't have to worry about food and it takes one thing off your plate for the day, then I would recommend considering freezer meals. Freezer meals are not always cheap, but they're almost always cheaper than eating something out or getting takeout, and generally healthier as well. That doesn't mean that there aren't expensive freezer meals, and there aren't freezer meals that I wouldn't recommend that are maybe super unhealthy or very expensive. If you're just trying to save time and save a little bit of money, it's much more convenient to have a freezer meal, put it in the microwave, eat it, and go.
Having frozen pizza in your freezer is extremely important to not overspend on eating out, and you can add whatever you want to it. I just added some vegan cheese because this has no cheese, and I'm so excited to eat it, and it's much cheaper than Uber Eats or any takeout food.
Is this a long-term solution? No. But for super busy days where you feel like getting takeout and having that food and spending so much for delivery, a freezer meal will definitely be cheaper, and it'll be something to hold you over so you don't have to worry about planning to order or planning to pick out takeout because you already have what you need at home. Now, freezer meals are by no way cheap, at least for the ones that I get. I usually get vegan freezer meals, so those are not very cheap. I know there are some cheap $1, $2 freezer meals. Try to get some that are good nutritionally and high in protein, high in fiber, something that will keep you full long term, something that you also enjoy, because you don't want to buy freezer meals you hate that just sit in the bottom of your freezer and you don't eat them, because that is a waste of money as well. I also wanted to mention, when it comes to eating out, I know some people are addicted to eating out. Sometimes you may have to wean yourself off of it. Maybe you just can't go from eating out 5 days a week to 0. You may have to go to 3 days a week. And then when that's your normal, cut it down to 2 days a week. And then when that's your normal, cut it down to 1. And then try to cut it out completely. Now, eating out is not inherently bad. It's good to treat yourself sometimes, but I feel like we're very reliant on it, and it's also a very expensive thing that most people can't afford. So for transparency, my husband and I almost never eat out. I tend to make all the food at home. I enjoy making food, and it's just something enjoyable for me because we kind of have to eat, so you might as well make it enjoyable. The next thing I would recommend is learn to cook your favorite meals that you eat out. If you're someone that likes to eat out because of the taste and flavor, I would recommend looking up recipes on how to cook your favorite meal. This is not going to happen right away. You're not going to find a recipe and cook it exactly like the restaurant. It's going to take time. But in this, you're going to learn a new skill. You're going to learn how to cook your favorite meal. And I promise you, it's cheaper. Some people say it's not cheaper to cook at home, but they are wrong, because restaurants are there to make money and make a profit. They make money off of you eating out. It is more expensive than making things at home. Of course, making something at home is time consuming, and sometimes we don't have that time. But if you do have a little bit of time and you eat out more because you like the taste and not the convenience aspect, then I would definitely recommend trying to recreate your favorite recipes, because I promise you, it's going to taste very close eventually. It may take some time. I personally love to cook, so I love to take recipes and things that I try out and try to make it better at home, but it takes time. Sometimes you make something and it's a little bit off, and next time you learn and you make it even better. So do not expect it to happen overnight. And like I said, once you figure out how to make your favorite meal, you save so much money making it home, and you have an amazing skill. You can cook for your friends, you can cook for your partner, you can cook for whoever, and it's just a wonderful thing to be able to do. I was hesitant to mention this next tip because I know it's hated by most people. Well, some people, because it's kind of annoying to do and it's kind of irritating to have to do, and it's meal planning. Now, meal planning does not have to be this stringent thing where this is what I'm eating Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday for breakfast, lunch, and dinner and snacks, and then for the rest of the week. You don't have to do meal planning like that. There's many different ways that you can meal plan, and it does not have to be this hard to do thing. For me personally, I don't tend to super meal plan, so I don't know what I'm having Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, but sometimes I find some recipes I want to create. I buy the ingredients for those recipes, and then I buy extra ingredients on top of that for things that I like to add to recipes. So for example, it's really easy for me to put together a stir fry and put it on rice or put it on noodles. So I know I like to have snap peas to do that. And I know I like to have mushrooms and peppers. So I just buy those ingredients and I keep them in the fridge so that it makes it really easy for me to make an easy to make meal. Another thing to add on to meal planning is it doesn't have to be hard. You don't have to make these Michelin star recipes. You don't have to make something difficult, and it can work exactly in the way that you want it to. It is not a one size fits all. You can just buy ingredients for the week that you know how to put together, but you want to be careful of waste because you don't want to toss things out, because of course meal planning is important because it cuts down waste. But if you don't meal plan and you just buy whatever you want, there is a chance that you could just throw out ingredients. However, having a loose meal plan is a good idea, and by loose I mean just find some recipes you like, buy the ingredients and buy some extra ingredients, and then just toss them in and make certain things with them. If you're busy, I would recommend when you meal plan, try to make leftovers. I know some people don't like to eat leftovers, but if you're ordering a delivery and it comes too cold and you have to warm it up, it's kind of like it's leftovers anyway. So you might as well just make something, stretch out the recipe a little bit more, double it or 1.5 of the recipe, and then have a little bit more so you don't have to waste your time making the recipe twice, because that is also super time consuming. If you cook something every single day, you're not gonna have time to work or do whatever you have to do. I know sometimes we can fit in our schedules and we have time to cook something, but sometimes you don't have time. So it's good to have leftovers. It's good to have things. Also, you can freeze leftovers. There's certain recipes you can make and then freeze some leftovers so you can pull them out and it's like a freezer meal. Another thing that makes it really easy is to meal prep. If you're meal planning and you have a recipe that calls for red bell peppers and you have 3 recipes that call for it that week, I'd actually recommend cutting all the peppers at once, putting them in containers, and then using them as you need instead of cutting each pepper every single time you use them. Of course, there are certain ingredients you can't do this with because it goes bad, like onions. I would actually recommend you cut it right away because it's not great to cut and put in the fridge. For some things, you can actually use a vacuum seal. Like for red peppers, you can get vacuum seal containers. I'm not telling you to buy vacuum seal containers at all. Do not waste your money on that if that does not fit in your budget. But for us, we use vacuum seal containers and we prep a lot of food and we use it throughout the week, and the vacuum seal container removes all the air, so it makes it a lot easier for it to last longer. So I have so many more tips, but the last one I'm going to leave you with is have ingredients to make simple meals throughout the week when you're busy. So the best way to explain this is I really like this ramen packet. I think it's called Soon, and I do not usually just eat it plain. I don't just boil water and put ramen, and you can totally do that. But what I like to do is I like to add more things to it and make it more of a complete meal. So I like to cut up tofu and mushrooms and snap peas and throw in frozen kale and spinach. And then I have a really nice ramen bowl of things that were really easy to put together because I had them in the fridge, some fresh food, and I had a pantry staple that I could just put together. And that makes a meal really fast and really simple to put together. And it's a staple meal that we usually have when we have no time to eat anything else. I recommend finding out what your staple meals are. Do you like to have pasta and spaghetti? What? Pasta and spaghetti is the same thing. Do you like to have pasta and pasta sauce? Is that something you like? Then buy your favorite pasta, buy your favorite pasta sauce, and have it ready to put together because that can take 20 minutes to put together. Sure, there's not many vegetables in that. Sure, it's not as like nutritionally balanced as it should be, but sometimes when you have quick meals, you just need to eat food, and nutritionally balanced may not be your top priority. So making sure that you have things that you can eat quickly. And then of course, if you do have time, cut in some vegetables. Cut in some vegetables. I would also recommend using frozen vegetables just for time. It's much easier. You can throw some broccoli in the microwave that's from frozen, and then you can add it to a meal as well. I know a lot of people love eating out, but it is such an expensive thing in most people's budgets. So I'm hoping these tips have helped you consider maybe not eating out as much, or maybe help you cut back on eating out if you're trying to save money or if you have a financial goal you want to reach. Let me know in the comments if you eat out a lot or what your eating out budget is, and if you love eating out or it's really ruining your budget and you're addicted to eating out, or maybe you don't eat out at all. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you're interested in financial content. I put out financial content every single week, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye.